Hi, I'm Rebecca from Psych Tips, and today I'm going to be talking to you about online dating. Chances are, if you're single and if you're keen on a relationship, then you will have at the very least considered online dating, because let's face it, that's how a huge number of us meet. And the reality is you probably know people in your social circle who've met online. But if you're new to it and, I don't know, maybe you're newly single and it's something you hadn't considered before, or maybe it's something you've avoided, the reality is it can be pretty overwhelming. So my goal today is to give you some tips on how to enter the world of online dating and increase your chances of meeting someone that you want to as much as possible. There is a reality that online dating can be off-putting for people. The fear of rejection, the fear of negative judgment, the idea of being ghosted. It is difficult, but like with everything, practice can make things easier. And hopefully the idea of the goal being attained at the end of it would be enough of a motivator for you to consider perhaps tolerating some of the negatives that come with online dating. Tip number 1 is research the apps and the websites that suit your personality or suit your needs the most. Some people love the fast pace of the apps where you can swipe and like really quickly and it's ever so convenient. Other people prefer the more detailed, thorough approach with setting up profiles that might come with an online platform. If you've got a particular interest and you want to meet people who are like-minded, if you are vegan, if you are a particular religion, the reality is there are apps to cater for all your needs, apps and websites to cater for all your needs. So have a think about what your needs are, whether you want something fast-paced, whether you want something that's, I don't know, that's your religion, to find someone who's the same religion as you, whether you want to find someone, I don't know, who's got the same dietary requirements as you, and whittle it down to, I would say, 2, maximum 3 sites that you're going to use, okay? And you don't need to set up profiles on all of them, because for some people, simply deciding on the websites they're going and the apps they're going to use is overwhelming enough. So each step of the way, don't put pressure on yourself. Just think, I'm going to explore. Step 1 is I'm going to explore the app or the websites that I want to use. Then don't put pressure on yourself. If you manage that and think that you're ready to go on to the next stage, fine. That's when you can look at setting up an online profile. Tip number 2 follows on from what I've just been saying. Go slowly. It's really easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if it's something you've put off. Maybe you're someone who, I don't know, family members or friends have said for years, you need to get online, you need to do some online dating, you need to, I don't know, set an online profile. And maybe the pressure's just got too much for you. And maybe you avoid it because you don't want to have to deal with all the questions that might come with online dating. If that is the case for you, you don't owe people an explanation. You don't need to tell people that you're doing online dating, but go slowly. As I say, if you're feeling overwhelmed with simply looking at the sites, then don't set up a profile till you're more comfortable with that. Once you feel comfortable enough to set up a profile, do that. And then if you set up your profile and you feel comfortable enough to do a bit of scrolling, do that. Then maybe you could build up to a bit of liking or a bit of swiping and matching and commenting. Then do that too. And each step of the way, don't tell yourself, oh, I've got to go on a date. That means going on a date is imminent. A lot of the time people find dating really scary. And if you can tell yourself, look, I'm just doing it online at the moment. There's no expectation that I have to actually go on a date with someone. There's no expectation that I have to have a phone call. I can pull out of this process at any point. It will probably give you the confidence to keep on the process, okay? So go slowly with it. And if you find it overwhelming, stop. Keep up the level that you're comfortable with. Once you've built up the confidence with that level, build up to the next one. Tip number 3 is don't overthink your profile. Half an hour, maximum. You do not need to spend a whole weekend, weeks, months planning your profile, working out which pictures you're going to use, arranging a photo shoot, thinking, rewriting, writing it again, your profile. You only need to spend a maximum of half an hour on it. If, I don't know, a few days, weeks later, you're really detesting what you've written or the photos you've used, fine, change them. But don't use writing your profile as a way of procrastinating and putting off actually starting the process of online dating. If you're finding it incredibly hard to write about yourself, you can't think of anything positive, you can't think of anything witty, which is something I think a lot of people expect that they should be online, then fine, enlist the help of a trusted friend who can help you write your profile, but don't overthink it. Especially if you're just stepping out into the world of it, maybe just having a relatively blank profile with one photo is enough for you. Then you can build up. If you're anxious, you are likely to overthink the whole process though, which is why if you're going to set up a profile, do it in a maximum of half an hour, set a day where you're going to do it and just get it done. Don't allow yourself to repeatedly revisit it and tweak it. It just becomes a tool for procrastination and actually putting off the stuff you really need to get on with, which is the liking, the swiping, the commenting, the chatting, and the eventual dates. Okay. Tip number 4 is start being proactive. So if you're already in the realms of matching and doing your liking and your comments, that's fantastic, but you need to be proactive. That means starting conversations. A lot of people find that difficult and say, I would rather wait until someone else starts a conversation. I hate the idea of sending out a message and then no one coming back to me. It's tough to do, but just send the messages first. If there's someone you're keen on, send a message. The odds are against you in terms of getting a reply. I mean, I'm not basing this on years and years of research, but I reckon you should be aiming for ideally a 1 in 10 response. For every 10 messages you send, getting 1 reply. If you're doing that and you're getting that, well, that's great. So have minimal expectations of the amount of replies you will get, which means don't overthink each message that you send someone. But it does mean be really proactive and send a lot of messages. And don't feel disheartened if you don't get much back, because the odds are against you. There are thousands of people online. There are, thousands and thousands of people trying to compete for other people's attentions. And I don't say that to dissuade you from doing dating. I say it to motivate you to start conversations with as many people as possible. Okay, stay proactive. If you're keen on someone, just send them a message, but also message a lot of other people as well, because it's a numbers game. It sounds brutal. It doesn't sound a particularly romantic way of saying it, but it is a numbers game. The more people you match with, the more people you message, the more people you go on dates with, the more you increase the likelihood of actually finding someone to be in a relationship with, if that's what you're looking for. So stay proactive. If you're really struggling with being proactive, then you need to allocate certain times in your day where you're going to do your dating, where you're going to have the conversations, where you're going to do your swiping, where you're going to do your liking, because you've got to act consistently with your goal. If your goal is to find a relationship, then you need to do what you can to meet that goal. And tip number 5 is see this as a project. That means the point I made in number 4, which is be proactive, that means being very, very regimented about how you're going to approach your dating. I don't mean, saying that, you must message every day, all day, throughout the day, but I do mean have an agenda, okay? If you want to go on a few dates, in the first few months of you going online, great. Set some goals around that then. Say, well, I need to be going on at least 2 dates a month. I need to be going on at least 1 date a week. Hold yourself accountable for some of your little targets. I said previously about setting time aside each day for dating, which is a really good way of making sure that you're acting consistently with your goal. But you also need to think about some other targets you can do, like the number of dates you want to go on, like maybe the amount of conversations you want to have, like maybe the amount of phone calls you're going to do. And it doesn't need to be hugely labour intensive. So I'm not saying that you need to spend your whole weekend dedicated to dating, but you do have to put the effort in. That means continuing to treat it like an ongoing project. Weight loss is an ongoing project. Promotion can be an ongoing project. Learning to drive can be an ongoing project. Dating is an ongoing project. So every so often review, think, am I doing enough? Could I be doing something differently? Should I be dedicating more time to it? Should I be streamlining it a bit more and not giving people really long dates, but instead meeting for coffee? So review. And again, if you've got a trusted friend that you can discuss this stuff with, then they can hold you accountable for some of the commitments you're making with regard to working towards your goal. And of course, remember to date safe. That means telling a trusted person the name of the person you're going on the date with, what time you're going to be meeting them, and texting them when you're leaving as well. If you've enjoyed today's tips, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I assure you I will give you more tips to help you live a psychologically healthy existence.